So, not sure if you can see it, but right behind me here, there are lots of lovely fruit trees growing. And we have grapefruits and oranges and mandarins and all sorts of things growing right outside the door. So it was a very abundant feeling for being sequestered during this time of stay at home and during this adventure of going deeper for 30 days in the mind. And then today, the gardeners showed up, and apparently here it's considered trash. And so they shook all of the fruit from the trees and are now hauling it off to throw it in the trash. So I wanted to talk about not only releasing expectations, but what to do when life doesn't give you lemons. I'd like to talk to you about what happens when life doesn't give you lemons. What happens when something out of the ordinary occurs, something that you might consider extraordinary? Well, I've always considered that that's an opportunity for awareness of dreaming. When something, an expectation that you had, a presumption that's in place in your mind, in your life, doesn't work out the way you thought, then the purpose is awareness of dreaming. And so I'd like to look at that with you today. In the course, it says you are entitled to miracles. And that's all it says. It doesn't say you're entitled to fresh air or water or food. It doesn't say you're entitled to anything in time and space and form. It merely says you're entitled to miracles. And the reason it doesn't offer you any of these seeming form, comforts, or even necessities is because it doesn't want to reduce for you the opportunity to go to the true comforter and to be relieved for once and for all with the truth. And that truth is the truth of who you are. And that is eternal and is not sustained or sourced by form of any kind. And so as things are shifting and changing in your life right now, it might be helpful to do an inventory as you notice beliefs and presumptions coming up for questioning that are taking away your peace. These are invitations to awareness of dreaming. So authentically having faced your dismay at something not going your way, the time has come to go to the true comforter, the spirit, and to ask for help in seeing things differently, to ask for help for saying, well, I always thought it was supposed to be this way. I always thought I was to be taken care of by the government. I always thought I was to be taken care of by my family. I always thought I would have this, that, or the other. Whatever the presumption was, whatever the distress is that's arising in the mind, it's really helpful if you can wind it back and have a deep look at the beliefs and the desires that are unquestioned. Sometimes you'll get a click to fit where several of them will fall under the same presumption that you thought you were entitled to have things a certain way. And what I would ask you to do today is to have courage to see that things wouldn't be better if they were different. It wouldn't be better if things were different because you are worthy of an experience that goes beyond like a 50% chance that sometimes things work out your way, sometimes they don't. And it wouldn't be better if it were different. It wouldn't be better. It wouldn't be better for you to awaken to the truth of who you are and come into a consistent experience of peace. And that's what the invitation of this world is. That's what everything you're seeing outside of you is inviting you to look at. This rub in your mind, these deep conflicts, this constant fear of there not being enough, or of you not being enough, or there being some disparity and struggle in life. And so you're being asked to pause during this 30 days and really, really address all of the underlying fear that propels you in your life. The need to eat, the need to find a partner, the need to have money, to have shelter. All of these basic needs on Maslow's hierarchy of needs are keeping you distracted, not by them being there, but by how you're using the seeming need and distress that arises with it in your mind. And so the invitation is during this time, for a moment, as with half of humanity apparently at this point, to sit still and take one more look at how we've conceived of the world in our mind, and as a person seemingly in the world, our relationship to it. Do you live in a benevolent universe, or do you live in one that is against you? And this is nothing to do with wealth or means. This is totally to do with a deep attitude in your mind. And I'm not saying you should have a better attitude. I'm not saying you should be a good, happy, optimistic person. I'm inviting you to peel off the screen entirely and to open your heart to discovering the truth of who you are, and a consistency in your life, and a peace and a safety in your mind that knows no circumstances. You see, the truth is you're worthy of being cared for. You're worthy of being clueless, carefree, and cared for. But that's a mental description of a state of mind in which you've surrendered to following guidance from the Holy Spirit and allowing yourself to awaken to the truth of who you are. It doesn't describe a person in a world. Everything you need freely given for awakening is a description of divine providence. And it's very important right now that you begin to choose waking up as your go-to rather than fixing and fighting and worrying about the future. And so, to recap, when life doesn't give you lemons and things don't seem to go the way that you imagined they were either supposed to be or that you thought they would, the invitation is to get still and be in presence with the Spirit, and to ask, as in every circumstance, what's truly helpful. For if your back is to the wall with anything that you're experiencing in your life, it remains an invitation to put all of your trust and faith in the one who knows what's best for all in every circumstance, and not to rely on past learning or your own knowledge or awareness of circumstances, but merely to step back and experience that you're already taken care of, that you're innocent, and that whatever is unfolding is not meant to thwart you, but to bring you back to the Spirit, to get clear, and from this space of clarity and gentleness and ease and love, to then look around and say, without reference to the past, okay, what now is truly helpful?